Greetings, BAMF Nation. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Reminiscent 84. Long time no see. How you guys been? Sorry I have been MIA for a while now. It's been a slow news week, or should I say slow news month. Anything that's been proposed for me to really do recently, I've heard ad nauseum here on YouTube, or just I don't think it's worth being covered. There are certain people, that people just need to stop talking about, because the more attention they give them, internet, TV, otherwise, the more attention they're going to seek. It's like a little kid pulling on your pant leg, except for this is a 20-year-old kid who's dry humping your pant leg while sticking her tongue out. So moving right along, I did come up with a really cool topic today, mainly because it's something I talk about with my friends a whole lot, and it's always good for a laugh, and these are people I identify, and this has a lot to do with why I don't like a lot of these artists, but today I'm going to talk about a few of the most ridiculous lyrics I've ever heard in music, and yes, most of these are in serious songs, so I don't want to hear that bullshit excuse that I hear on every song make fun of, oh, it's supposed to be fun, you're not supposed to take it seriously, it's a good dancing song to play at parties, ooh. Now, I don't know why critics tell me Bill Cosby all of a sudden, that's just the voice I came up with. And to them I say the same thing that I say people give me that stupid reasoning. You can also put a pot on the stove, but if you don't have any water in your pot, it's not going to boil, dipshit. So I'll talk about some of those ridiculous songs today. Also, I just want to point out today is sponsored by these, because these are the shit. These are the bomb.com, and I hate candy corn. I think it's like earwax turned into candy with a whole bunch of corn syrup. But I will make an exception for these nom-worthy, delicious things here. They are, if I can fold it without spilling them all, they are s'mores flavored candy corn, and these are actually palatable. Yes, I'm sure they have 17 kinds of carcinogens in them, but I don't care. They're so delicious. It's worth it. It'll be the most delicious demise ever. Yeah, moving right along. So, now, Eminem, all things fair and granted, this is not an attack on him. I think he is one of the best rappers that's alive nowadays. In 1998, he won a New Artist Award at the MTV Awards that year for a reason. He's great. He really is. I have no beef with him whatsoever. But this is just lazy for him. I don't know if it's because he just didn't want to do a song with Rihanna. I wouldn't blame him if that was what it is. But, I mean, he's done worse duets. He did that one with that one girl that no one even knows the name of, and all he did was his fucking Pee Wee Herman sounds in it. Okay, I retract that. Second most embarrassing Eminem moment after him talking about his pee-pee going doing 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 in a different song. He can do a lot better than this. I mean, if I say it's a bad pun, it's a fucking awful pun. It's a terrible pun. It kind of goes hand in hand with this one here coming up. Again, all fair and square, Nelly has his really good moments. He does, really. I mean, he hasn't had a single day in one of them since 2000, but that's beside the point. But, I mean, he's had EI. He's had Number One Stunna. He's had Air Force One. He's had Country Grammar. He's had Ride With Me, even. That was a halfway decent song. But this is not one of his better moments right here. The song that somehow spawned a beverage to compete with Little John's Crunk Juice, or whatever it was called. I mean, they had two energy drinks at this point. Both tasted like liquefied rotten ass. And they had songs devoted to each one of them. I don't know why, and they had to put them in their little pimp cups and... I say that not only because this is a slightly worse pun somehow than Eminem's. I mean, you from Russia, bitch, so why are you Russian? That's like Austin Powers' bad pun, except for somehow that manages to be charming. That really doesn't. And I picked this one because I had so many other one of these lyrics I could have gone with in the song that was almost as bad as that one. I mean, there was two whole stanzas devoted to I've got a fade when everyone had braids. Now I'm thinking about getting braids because everyone has fades. Like, I'm not kidding. Two lines devoted talking about hairstyles. And I'm a hairdresser, and I find it to be very redundant and stupid. For those of you out there who are not bilingually gifted, this roughly translates in English from Spanish to 1, 2, 3, 14. Yeah. Good luck getting the almighty Bono, though, patron saint of all rock and all philanthropy and all head-up ass, to admit that he can't count.
Dude, don't you have enough? I mean, you got tons of money, a jet, the biggest rock band in the world, a hot wife, and you've been knighted. I mean, at some point, can't you just kind of fuck off? And you can still be number two.
Number 2? Number 2! Say I'm not number 2!
You're not number 2.
I don't care if he says, I'm from Ireland, we don't have to speak Spanish, and I don't care. Anyway, but this song, I mean, it won 3 Grammys. It was seriously in Rolling Stone's top 100 songs of the decade of the 2000s. This song was almost called a Full Metal Jacket. Besides making up inanities like Fergalicious, this one is on here strictly because Will.i.am can't fucking spell. T to the A to the S-T-E-Y. No, last time I checked, Tasty doesn't have an E in there. Yeah, I mean, I know you probably learned how to spell from reading fucking junk food rappers like Tasty Cakes and Light spelled L-I-T-E, but that doesn't count. That's not the proper way of spelling things. But then again, what do you expect from a grown man who can't spell his name correctly? My name isn't William, it's Will.i.am with periods and all in lowercase. Did he mentor that fucking fun band that sucks too that spell their name all in lowercase with a period? Coincidentally? I mean, this guy spells the same way that Lisa Turtle writes it, but she's dyslexic and bipolar. At least she has an excuse.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. Huh? Unless you have ESP, no you didn't. How on earth did you know about him before you met him? And better yet, and you should know that. Yeah, I dare your psycho ass to go to somebody in a club and tell them that. That should be your intro line instead of, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, which, that's not gonna fare any better. It should, if you go to somebody and introduce yourself like that, it's gonna, in their head, they're going to hear, this bitch is crazy. Especially if you say, hey, I met you, and that's a whole line unto itself. I have problems with that line in itself. No, it's not really crazy. In fact, that's usually how people meet, is they go up and say hi and give each other their number. That's how it works in normal world. I don't know how it works in Rae Jepsenville, USA, or Canada, but that's how it works in the normal world. But yeah, I dare you to go up to somebody that you like and tell them that exact line, before I met you, I missed you so bad. They're gonna call up and get you a nice padded room with a nice free white jacket with extra long arms so you can hug yourself all the time. Actually, yes, it can be quite a bit further elucidated if you really wanted to. It's actually quite vague if you ask me. If I can't recall a time in my life I ever started a story to my friends. Hey, did you hear? Well, he was a boy and she was a girl. I mean, do you really need to hear more? I mean, chances are I would say no, because that probably means your story's already boring as hell. But I mean, really, you could have added some really banal details for us if you really would have felt like it. Where was it? Avril, did they go to the mall? Oh wait, he's a skater boy, so they went to the skating park, didn't they? And he did a really rad half-tube triple sow-cow mochaccino. I don't know, whatever the fuck the moves are called. I mean, tell us really, what did they put on their hot dogs? Mustard or relish? Or mayonnaise? No, only weirdos eat mayonnaise. Avril, please do enlighten us, all of us, and tell us which Radiohead song exactly you're screaming at the top of your lungs. I grew up listening to Radiohead in the 90s, and I have yet to find one song of theirs that really sounds appropriate being sang at the top of your lungs. Do you go mosh to Coldplay too? Also, as a bonus in this same song, I cannot get over the way she says boombox in the following line. It just tears me up every single time.
With the boombox blaring as we're falling in love.
Boombox! The Goosebumps girl is blushing!
Boombox.
Oh, Avril, just 2 seconds ago you were talking about never growing up, and now all of a sudden you sound like a henpecked 45-year-old housewife. What other trivial habits of his, what monotonous things get on your nerves? Oh, I just hate it how he's always 3 inches away from the sock hamper. Whenever I have him in a nice soiree and he cuts the cheese in front of all the house guests. Oh, I just hate it when at the same party he licks his balls in front of the fireplace. Oh wait, that's your dog. Oh, I just hate it whenever I marry the guy from Nickelback and people think he's my dad.
We'll be running down the street and kiss my ass. We live like rock stars, dance on every bar. They say just grow up. We don't give a fuck.
Calm yourself,
Someone might want to tell the otherwise brilliant Charde that Chicago's not a coast. Minor setback. You can imaginate as hard as you want, honey. It's still not a word. You went to that real good upper learning education, didn't you, to come up with one like that? Legitly. By the way, the word you're looking for is imagining. Like, I'm sure you're imagining that your conversating skills are the best, irregardless of... '70s stoner rock bands weren't very good at paying attention to detail, were they? I mean, it sounds like if you listen to the bulk of the song, it sounds like this epic journey they were on, or mind journey, whichever one, physical or mental, that it was, or drug-induced. But, yeah, all I could come up with were there were rocks and plants and trees and birds and things. Like, that's all you noticed? I mean, I know it's a desert, but maybe be more... I mean, there's cactuses. You could be a little more specific. You could be poetic about it if you felt like it. The grains of sand beneath my feet scorched like 1,000 bright suns, and something like that. You know, it's something better than rocks and plants and trees and things. And also, for how long y'all were stuck out there? Why does this goddamn horse still not have a name? You have enough time. Name the poor thing. Besides, if we choose to forgive the line about her Mini Cooper and feeling super duper, that it was probably written in a school assignment by one of her children and given to her, I cannot excuse the forced rhyme scheme of latte and shate.
I'm drinking a soy latte. I get a double shot.
Like, that's the best you could come up with. That's the only thing you could think of that somewhat rhymed with latte. Really, Madonna. Use your English accent. I'm sure there's plenty of things that rhyme. On the plus side, she did learn her lesson. This was the one and only time Madonna ever attempted to rap, and this song is why. Well, thank you, Sean Kingston, for defining the word indecisive for all the 9-year-olds that bought this Justin Bieber CD. I'm guessing that was the point. It's like a miniature PSA, and that's the only way you can get those kids to learn, is to sneak vocabulary words into their brain-dead CDs they buy by Bieber and One Direction and Rebecca Black. Oh, come to think that Rebecca Black did teach you the days of the week, if you were that stupid you didn't know that. So, I might be onto something. Truthers out there, all the crazy truthers with the tinfoil hats, get on this shit. But otherwise, if that's not the reason why it's in here, this is inexcusable. I mean, why would you reiterate the same thing? Like, that's like saying she's an awful person, I hate the bitch. Up there in poetry, by the way, with 2 Chainz, she had a big booty, so I call her Big Booty.
Bye.